Hello, people of the internet. We are back, and we are going to be watching the Crescent's Blade versus Seduction match. And I'd be lying if I told you this isn't one of my favorite matchups this week. And the reason that is, these two teams know each other like the back of their hands. They have scrimmed so much. They have looked at each other's strats. They have practiced and practiced and practiced. And all of them are very, very good friends with each other. So that's just a recipe for a really, really good match. So I cannot wait till we get into that. But before we do that, obviously, like you guys all know, I do a quick check of everything and exactly what is happening on my end of things and making sure everything does look nice and pretty for the stream. And as well, I'm going to be joined by Nitrox again. He was just so nice to come on for a second time here. So Nitrox, introduce yourself to the new viewers.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tyler Bryce. I also go by Nitrox, obviously. That's why I'm a little bit more well-known as. You can also follow me at Nitrox Hype as well. I am an ESL community caster. I've also casted for ESA, WAS, and a couple other leagues in CSGO. So I'm very excited to be here, though. I'm ready to see this game. I actually haven't casted either Seduction or Crescent's Blade, but I have scrimmed against CB, so I do know a little bit about them and how they play. And overall, even though this is going to be on Border, I think it's going to be an exciting game.
Yeah, obviously being on Border, that's always a little bit unfortunate for us casters because, I mean, what new can you bring to the table? Well, I think they're going to be betting a lot of money because you can always bring something new to the table in Rainbow Six. But everything on my end, it does look good, nice, and pretty, so we're going to get right into it here. And let's just take a second to look at both of these teams as a whole. Seduction are coming off of a very, very tough loss. First week, they had a really nice win against Revolt. And then this second week, unfortunately, the game was not streamed because it was not on a league match day. But they struggled. There was a lot of struggling there. They just did not come out good. Both of the maps, they only won 2 rounds. They're definitely going to be coming into this one, looking over all of their strats, practicing as much as they possibly can because they don't want a repeat of next week. And obviously, they know Crescent's Blade so well and so many times have they scrimmed against each other. The tactics and the strats that we might see here are going to be, I think, in my opinion, out of this world because they have to throw them off somehow. Crescent's Blade, on the other hand, are coming off of a very nice win against Runic on week 2. Runic, obviously, yesterday they won against Evolve, so we know Runic is a very, very strong team. So if we're just looking at the momentum, Crescent's Blade have the slight edge. But enough about the mental mindset. Let's see exactly what maps these players are going to be playing on, and I will put that onto the screen for you guys right now. First map, obviously, like we said, we're going to be seeing Border. Second map is going to be onto Bank, and then the decider will be Oregon. So looking at these 3 maps, it's a pretty common map pool. Bank is definitely something in there that we've seen today, but it is not as common as Bank in Oregon. What are you taking away immediately?
The first thing I'm going to see is obviously Border, Oregon, the 2 of the most popular maps that we have seen in pretty much any type of Rainbow Six Siege, whether it's professional, semi-pro, or casual gameplay. So I'm expecting both of these teams to have very strong strats on both attacking and defending. So it's really going to come down to game sense in whichever team makes the least amount of mistakes. Now, Bank, we just saw that in the game with, I believe that was Revolt.
Actually, before you go ahead, I'd actually want to make a change. I have actually put the map bans on wrong, and Oregon is going to be the second map. Bank will be the decider. So that is my fault. I will quickly change that here. I put this on the graphic wrong, but I can change that just right away. So that does change a couple things. So that means Crescent's Blade, they chose Border as their map, and then Seduction's map was Oregon and not Bank. So I just want to clear that up for everybody. The decider is Bank, whereas the second map is going to be Oregon.
Yeah, so we just saw in the Revolt versus Grunto esports game that they played Bank. So once again, it's starting to become a little bit more popular into this most recent meta. Now that we had a couple of maps phased out of that, we've also added in Villa and a reworked Clubhouse, which I think that teams are still really iffy about. I don't think that they're fully comfortable on it. That's why they're banning them out and deciding not to choose them. So it usually comes down to either Bank, Consulate, or Coastline as that third decider pick. So we are going to be seeing that as well. It's a very strong map, very large, very open, and very good for roamers if you're able to do so properly.
What I'm going to, just before we get into this here, just to not delay anymore, as I would want to see this game as much as you guys, but what I want to say is I'm expecting a very close match between these two because they know each other so well. When teams scrimmage constantly, when teams they actually have a very friendly relationship with the players as well, when you talk, when you play ranked matches with them, any little thing like that, you start to learn about the mindset, about the playstyle of every single player. And that's what we're going to see here, and it's mutual for both of these teams. So, I mean, that is probably the most pinpoint recipe for a close game. So instead of talking about it, let's get into it, and the first map is going to be on Border. We will see you there. All right, guys, here we go. First map of Border, and on to my favorite part, the map bans. Not map bans, the operator bans, as this can really just dictate a game completely. Can't wait to see what Seduction and Crescent Blade pull out here.
Yeah, now last time we saw a wide variety of bans in the previous game earlier today, so we are going to start this off with a ban onto Blackbeard. So very strong on this map. I'm not surprised to see him off the board. Typically, if he's attacking archives, he can just hold out AC relatively well. So that's going to get taken off the board by Crescent's Blade early on. Now the Seduction is going to set up their next two bans. They have to choose one attacker and one defender as per the rules. And let's see who they're going to go with now.
And before they pick Glass. Oh, unlucky.
Nope.
They're going to be picking Jackal.
So I'm not really sure if that is a targeted ban towards one of the CB players. They have scrimmed against each other for a while, so that is a possibility here.
And something that's interesting about Jackal is Border, you want to establish your roam game, but it's definitely not as important as on such other maps such as Bank like we saw today. But I think that definitely is a targeted ban because these players, as Jaeger also coming off of the board, I think that's a targeted ban as well because those two operators, yes, they're viable, but lots of people use them for their gun and their utility just because they can kind of, they're so familiar with them. So I think two targeted bans there from Seduction, that's going to definitely throw Crescent's Blade off a little bit.
Oh, yeah, and as we see the the final ban is going to be coming out, and that's going to be the Mira taken off the board. Once again, not very surprising. So it looks like Crescent's Blade, they really went with some standard operators while Team Seduction tried to shake it up a bit.
Yeah, we saw Seduction really, I think, go for the targeted ban approach, whereas we saw Crescent's Blade taking out a Blackbeard, very common. Taking out a Mira, very common. Fun fact, actually, Mira had a pick rate of 89%, and that has slowly gone down to 34% pick rate.
It was higher than 89. It was 97.
97%, actually. And because of all of these bans onto the Mira, she has gone down to a 34%, so that just shows how many teams ban her. So definitely Crescent's Blade taking the more traditional approach here, as well as they are going to be going up to Army Locker's archives, which is good or reliable.
So we can see the swaps are going to be coming out. It looks like they're not actually going to go with the ever so powerful Blitz. Instead, Sushi will be rotating off of that. Now, Sushi is really the only one I'm familiar with on Team Seduction, and I do know that he has played Blitz in the past, but he is going to go with a Lion. So very strong operator that E1D can wreak havoc on the defending side if the attackers decide to push in. And they do have a kind of a setup for that. They have Zafia, they have Habana to open up the wall and create peaks for Glass. That's a really strong team comp they have there.
Yeah, I think they are definitely something to take away from Seduction is how well they communicate with each other. They are probably one of the best teams at communication. They have some of the best comms I know. And the only reason I know this is because my very first casting job, I actually got to sit inside the team comms of Seduction. And it's very crisp, very technical, and there's always a direction that they're going to be headed. So that is what Crescent Blade, obviously, they're so familiar with them as well. They know this. They're going to have to play a very strong defense because this attack from Crescent's Blade, from Seduction, is going to be very strong, very technical, and very quick and very pinpoint. So Crescent's Blade have to just beat them on every little thing, and then they can pull out a couple of defensive rounds here.
And I'm really excited to see what Team Seduction is going to be able to do. I do know that they were able to pick up a brand new coach recently, so we're going to see if any of those strats or ideas are going to be implemented and if they're going to help or hurt Seduction. We can see that Ham is already playing in the background with the glass, trying to see if he's able to spot anybody out in that archive doorway. It doesn't look like to be the case there, however, but they're beginning to throw out the first floor. Sushi is making his way outside of break room, and it looks like he is going to be very aggressive right now, already pushing inside of it, getting onto CC right now, and it looks like they actually don't have anything to hold it.
That's very interesting to see. Most of the time, break room CCTV area is a huge point where you're going to put a lot of utility and a lot of bodies as a defense, but look at what we're seeing right now. Sushi has complete control of this area and is going to be now trying to focus onto site. No EE1Ds have come out yet, so he's probably saving them for the last second push, but look at what we're seeing. Very, very quick work here so far from Seduction. There is really no roam game to deal with, and they've recognized that almost immediately, and they're just going right onto site.
Yeah, we can see that Sushi right now, he is just at the very top of Metal Stairs. He's going to break down the barrier from Metal, trying to peek into Armory, see if he's able to spot anybody as a lifeline goes off from Zafia, accidentally going to be stunning Wick just a little bit, but Sushi is going to be able to find the first kill. This Haste peeking out just a little bit too far right now. That's going to be his head being popped off right now, and a Legion taken off the board. And guy is going to get spotted out, but it's not going to get destroyed just as Jitaro and Sneak Peek begin to set themselves up for more information with their cameras.
As it's always very unfortunate to lose the Legion so early on. He is one of those operators that gets stronger as the round goes on. Obviously, he gets more goo mines when time ticks away. And because he is the first off, that's a lot of goo mines that aren't going to be put down. That's a lot of prevention into sight that is kicked off of the board very, very quickly. But what we've seen so far here from Seduction is it was very quick in the beginning, but now they've kind of stalled out. Everybody is frozen, holding angles, and I think they're just waiting for everybody to get into their correct positions. Then they will start the onslaught.
Right now, just about a minute left, and 9 operators are still alive right now. Sneak Peek is going to peek outside. No pun intended. They're not going to spot any of the members out on Team Seduction right now, but the EE1D charge is going to be coming out, and they're going to be preparing to push into their Sushi, making sure Fountain is clear as his charge is going to be going off. The Lion is roaring right now. Wick is going to try and get a free fire onto there as Ham pushes his way inside. Those smoke grenades and the Toxic Waves are going to work out for him as McFoles is going to go for the plant. Alfie is going to find a kill onto Jerkin, however. Ham is going to push even farther into. He's going to be able to catch out the Maestro as bodies drop left and right. A good majority of people. Jitaro is going to get the last kill on that. That's going to be a 2K for him as he's also able to take out that guy on Facebook. And this has turned into a 1v2 almost immediately as frag after frag came out from both sides. Diffuser is planted right now, and it is all up to Alfie to actually get the disable and get the 2 kills to win the round up for his team. Things are going to be going down. They do have the Valkyrie camera. He's going to get spotted out, however. He's going to get into a gunfight. Alfie is going to be on the winning side of that as the Toxic Wave is going to be going out. It's going to be able to kill Ham. This is going to turn this into a 1v1, but he has to hurry right now. McFoles is the last member alive. He is going to be trying to stick the Diffuser disable. Going to bait it out right now, but McFoles is going to peek inside. The two of them are going to get into an exchange. McFoles is going to drop on that, but he doesn't have enough time. Alfie's not going to be able to get the Diffuser down, and Seduction will take round 1.
Very, very good round, and like we said in the beginning, is going to be close. It came down to the last operators. McFoles does drop, but time management, like we've said before, you need to be aware of how much time you have to defuse that bomb. And obviously, when you are looking at that push from Seduction, they got everything set up, and then they pushed very, very quickly. Similar to what we saw from Grunto Black. It seems as if they got everybody in specific positions, and then it was aggressive, 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 and Revolt didn't really find an answer here. Will Crescent Blade be able to find the answer? Obviously, that round, technically, you could say, based on frags, was won by Crescent Blade, but this game's not all about frags. It's about who can get that plant down, and Seduction did just that. So great push there from Seduction, but it also was a great hold.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, they were almost able to get it. You know, it's kind of like what I say usually, even if you get 5 frags, if the diffuser's down, you know, and you can't defuse it in time or disable it in time, you're still going to lose. So this game isn't about frags, it's about playing the objective. And that's where you really see good teams and great teams begin to separate. You'll find a lot of really good teams go, all right, we just got to kill everybody. It's just basically TDM. And then you have those great teams who play the objective and play the time well.
Yeah, that's very similar to Latin America style of play, is a lot more focused on frags. If anybody is familiar with Pro League and the Rainbow Six Pro League, Latin America is a region that focuses on frags, whereas NA and EU a lot more focused on strategy. But when you mix the two, that's when you can find a perfect combination, and that's what teams are always searching for. You want to get the frags, you want to get the kills, but it comes down to who's going to play the objective better, who's going to be holding the tighter angles, who's going to be just playing with more precision. And in that setting, Seduction played with a lot more precision, and they got the plant down, and they got it down at a perfect time. And although they lost all the bodies, they still won the round.
Exactly. I mean, they were able to get her early pick onto Hayes, taking him out relatively quick into the round. And along with that, Han was able to utilize the remote gas grenades and his own smokes as well to get a nice little two-piece at the beginning, which allowed McFoles to get the plant down. So great teamwork coming out from them. But right now, we are into a new round. Crescent's Blade has a second chance of winning on this site right now. We can see it's going to be the same lineup that they just had previously, not going to be switching off any operators with the exception of the Maestro, which is going to be given to the Bandit. We can see the same thing coming out of Team Seduction. Already Slushy is inside a break room with his teammates. Once again, they're not really trying to hold CCTV, and I think it's mainly because of the Mira ban.
I think they definitely don't want to hold CCTV because there is that tactic with the Mira. Open up that wall, you have a line of sight into CCTV, and then it's a lot easier for you to hold defense on border. But because you don't have that Mira, you're not going to be able to do that. And you know what's interesting to note? The team that banned Mira was Crescent's Blade, and they are on defense first. You don't typically see that. You don't typically see a operator that gets picked so often getting banned from the team that's on defense first, as the Thermite tricking is, the Bandit tricking, my fault, is not going to be able to land, and Thermite has opened up into the south side of site. It's just going to be waiting there to push that half shelf area.
And Sneak Peek is going to go out for a peek, living up to his name. Durkin's going to go down, but it's going to be immediately refragged out by McFoles as Jitaro is going to get into a gunfight. He's going to try and spray down through that tiny little desk area, not going to find anybody. However, the pings are going to be going down, and the information is going to be brought out right now. Sushi is in a very bad position. He's going to take a lot of damage from that nitro cell as he gets to try to get a couple of pre-fires. Not going to land any of those. However, he is stuck in between a rock and a hard place. Sushi is really in a dangerous spot right now. Jitaro is trying to go for that frag, and Sushi is right now at 25 health. He has to be very careful here. Yokai is still going to be out right now, and Haste is playing in that back angle as the rest of Crescent's Blade begins to set themselves up for a strong defense. Minute left, and it looks like Seduction is preparing to push inside. We can see that Wick and his teammate McFoles are going to be on that balcony area. We can see that the stun grenades are going to be coming out from the lifelines as Slushy tries to push inside, but Jitaro is holding on to that, and he has a very strong position right now. Stun grenades are going to be tossed out. 40 seconds left just as Jitaro is getting onto his camp. He is fully blinded right now, but so is Sushi. He's going to be trying to rotate around as the Toxic Babes come out, and the attack is going to be coming through. Sushi trying to get that angle, and a bunch more chaos coming in as Ham tries to go for a frag. Jitaro is going to be on the winning end of that against Sushi. He's going to be able to take him out, but the bomb is being planted, or I'm sorry, the diffuser is being planted, and the Yokai's going to stop it, actually, as Hayes finds a kill onto Wick right now. He's going to be rotating to CCTV. Alfie's going to go down as well, and so is McFoles, and with a strong, decisive defense, Crescent's Blade is going to be on the winning side of that.
What we saw there was Jitaro and Lion, Jitaro and Sushi, they sat at that exact spot for the entirety of the round. That really took Lion out of the attack, and I think that was something that Jitaro was wanting to do. He wanted to distract that Lion as much as possible, because then he can't make those EU1Ds at exactly accurate times when they pushed in. Obviously, you can hear comms and things like that, but just Sushi not being there with his team and getting distracted by Jitaro, that was a huge effect of that match. Lion was basically taken out of that, basically that entire rotation for the attack, as he was distracted in office by Jitaro. So overall, great play from the defense. It was a very, I think it was almost flawless round, 4 people alive, if I'm not mistaken. It was very, very strong from them, and it's completely different from what we saw from the first attack, and that just shows how close these teams are going to be.
Exactly. And as we can see here, the 6th pick is going to be coming out. Buck is going to be swapped out for someone else. But I think it's really interesting to see the Ashe come out along with the IQ. Now, I'm not sure how often Wick plays Ashe, but ever since this new season, she has been kind of out of the meta. She used to be played almost every single game. I think she had like an 80% pick rate, but we haven't seen that too often right now. So we're going to see what they're going to do with her.
Something that's going to be interesting to see is Whack is a very, very hard fragger. He goes for kills very, very quickly. He is the main fragger next to Durkin on Team Seduction. Durkin is playing the support role as Habana, though, but the fragger is going to be Whack most of the time. And the The thing that was also going to be interesting to see with him is he's playing Ashe, but on defense is where he really strives. When he gets into that Vigil role, he's very, very hard to beat. So it's going to be interesting if he utilizes that, if he kind of plays to his strengths, or maybe they're trying to throw off Crescent's Blade a little bit because they definitely know about wax fragging capabilities. Because this game isn't just go for kills and go for the plant. When it's with these two teams, it's also all about the mindset, and it really is reliant on a lot of mind games.
Yeah, I do agree with you there. I also think it's very interesting how Ham has been sticking to the glass. I mean, I would say he's more of a situational operator than one that can be an end-all, be-all. I think it depends on what site you're attacking. So we're going to see what Ham can do with him. I think he has about 3 kills right now. He's able to get a really nice 2K early on right now. But we can see Foles is making his way onto the AC unit without any issues. They see that a couple of them are going to be holding up onto the second floor, while Alfie and Jitterow hang out and try to check cams and basically hold on tight right now. A couple of drones are going to be coming inside, and Jitterow is going to get spotted out, which is going to force him to retreat back into the armor area along with his teammate right now. While Team Seduction, they prepare to push inside. 2 of them are in office right now. They're going to be watching Fountain. They do have another member on AC. I think they're going to try and go for control on Armory Archives before inevitably going down onto the site and beginning to push it. Ham is going to spot somebody out. He's not going to land a frag onto Jitterow, but yes, he is. His head is just barely peeking out, and Ham is going to find a frag for himself, taking a little bit of damage in the process, but getting out relatively unscathed as Sneak Peek pushes back into CC.
So we've seen Sneak Peek here go for a very, very deep flank, and it can catch a lot of Seduction players out very, very hard. If he pushes in here and if he does it correctly, he could potentially get a frag on 4 players. But we do see Ham is watching that angle. He does hear the twitch though, and that's going to be Durkin off of the board. The call out definitely has been made, and it's going to be up to the glass to stop this bandit. He's not going to be able to get the Ashe, but he does actually, and now he's in a very tough position. He gets the glass as well, and Sneak Peek is definitely living up to his name, sneaking around as a roamer and peeking 3 operators on attack and going down almost instantly. What a play from the bandit.
Will he be able to get the 4K? Drop Sushi down to a little bit under 50 health. He is definitely at the advantage of that. Alfie is going to find a kill on the McFoles, and the final kill, 4K coming out from Sneak Peek to clear out the round for Crescent's Blade.
That was probably the strongest flank we have seen in almost all of the league matches. When you see a push onto that Armory Lockers area, you're expecting, okay, he's going to rotate back down to the side. We don't have to worry about him. We have top control. Not what Sneak Peek does. He decides, hey, you know what? I'm going to rotate all the way through CCTV, take my time, and let me just get a casual 4K and put this round on its head and get Crescent's Blade the win. What a play there from Sneak Peek. Absolutely spectacular. He really solidified himself there.
Definitely a clippable moment there, but we can see
sure.
We're going to be heading into the reveal phase of round 4 with Crescent's Blade holding on to 1 round just ahead of Team Seduction, so not too far, but I'm expecting that they're trying to widen that gap even further as we head into the later rounds. We can see that it is going to be an Armory Lockers hold once again, and they are going to be choosing the same exact operators that they just had previously on that site. So they are going to be returning to a very familiar, very strong site, and I think it's going to be difficult for Seduction to actually get back in there. They do bring out the Ying, though. She wasn't banned along with the Blitz, and I think those Candela mines are going to do a lot of damage if used correctly.
And something to also note is we've seen Crescent Blade on this old reliable bomb site a couple times now, and they really haven't roamed deep. It's all been focused on the site, and there's been a couple roams here and there, but it's really been off-site anchors. There's never been really someone controlling CCTV, controlling break room. It's all been on site. It's going to be interesting to see. I'm guessing Seduction is expecting that. Will we see Sneak Peek, obviously now the famous roamer? Will he go on to do a very deep roam here, or will they keep it consistent and just go with the traditional playstyle? It's going to be interesting to see. Definitely you want to change things up, but like the old saying goes, why fix what's not broken? But in Siege, that sometimes doesn't apply.
No, there's just so many different variables and aspects that you can't plan for. But we are going to see Team Seduction. It looks like they're going to be doing a little bit of a different attack right now. We can see that Sushi is not going to be going on Lion, and he's not going to be aggressively pushing in a break room. Instead of opting for a sledge and an Eastern Stairs push, he's going to be opening that up after his teammate droned it out and gave the all clear. Going to take out that cam, not before getting spotted, however, as his teammate Whack is going to come up close behind, setting down that Claymore. Looks like they're going to be opening this up and trying to get hold of Office as Ham plays outside, making sure nobody's going to try any spawn peeks or runouts, while the rest of his team is going to drone and watch for flanks. They're going to be preparing to set themselves up to push inside right now. They have 2 members of Seduction watching that fountain area. Sushi is going to crawl inside and check out and try to find where one of those shutter bugs are. Looks like he's not going to be able to find it. However, instead he is going to get spotted out on there, and that's going to give away his position. But it looks like he's going to prepare for a frag grenade right now, busting open the top areas. Whack is going to try and get a kill on Facebook, but he is not going to succeed in that. Instead, Echo is going to peek out and find his head. That's going to be a 5v4 almost immediately after in favor of Crescent's Blade.
What we saw, Whack did establish east side control, but now that he is off the board, we could potentially see a flank here from the defense, but everybody has rotated back onto the site. Even though there hasn't really been a deep roam here, there could be the potential for a deep flank once again. But I think everyone's going to focus on site here, and now the push is going to have to commence. And a great kill from that guy on Facebook. That is 2 for him now. And that Barry 9, it just litters guns, but Sushi able to get a great grenade kill on that guy on Facebook. And finally, that Echo is taken off the board. But it's now just up to 2 players, Ham and Durkin, as Jitaro is able to take down Sushi. Ham has found himself on top of Vehicle Customs here on the north window of site. This is a place where you always want a Glaz or a Blackbeard. And this is a good spot for him, but he has to get a couple frags to give this game back to even playing terms.
And right now he's going to be peeking inside as Durkin tries to catch out Jitaro, who is playing inside the fountain area. The 2 of them are going to exchange shots, but neither of them are going to be coming out on the victorious side of that. A couple of quick peeks coming out from Jitaro. Unfortunately for him, he's not going to connect any as Ham finds 2 kills. Sneak peek, and Jitaro are going to get taken out as he rushes into the site. Going to back out into AC area, but a nice little 2-piece for him as Haste finds 1 for himself right now, and it is all up to the Glass right now. Will he be able to end this with a 4K? Or will he go down? He has 30 seconds left and he's in archives. He has to get that diffuser as he steps on a goo mine. Gonna run to Aoeah, however, and he is unfortunately not going to be able to get that. And another round is going to go over in Crescent's Blade favor.
Something to note there was, look how Haste got his kill. I said it earlier, I was like, there was a potential for an east side flank on those east stairs. Because Whack died, he didn't have control of them. Haste did exactly that. He rotated all the way down, came up east stairs, and actually went through the rotate hole that Whack made and killed the sledge. So that east flank was very, very important, and although it was late in the round, it completely put a disadvantage to the Glaz. Yes, Glaz is a great operator who can clutch out those types of situations, but you never want to be put in that situation, and it really just comes down to the fact Legion and the Haste of Legion had really great game sense there.
And you know, I'm actually quite surprised. So Seduction banned out Jaeger in hopes of making Fountain extremely difficult for them to hold. But from what we have been seeing recently, Jitaro has been doing a great job in there. No one's really been able to push him out of that position, even without any real equipment for him. I mean, he doesn't have any ADSs, he doesn't have any Evil Eyes, he doesn't have anything to stop them from just nading it and taking control almost immediately. So that just shows how well Jitaro has been playing in that position. But we are going to be going on to a new site. This is going to be Vents, which they have won last time, but that was mostly due to an amazing sneak peek flank. So we're going to have to see if either A, their defenses are going to be able to hold up on their own as a team, or B, if one of their players is able to get a close ace again. Yes, exactly.
And something to also take away is Jitaro, like you said, he doesn't have utility to back him up. He doesn't have those ADSs to stop stun grenades. He doesn't have any ADSs to stop grenades as well. So you're expecting Jitaro to kind of back off of Fountain, but he is held with his guns and just sat there holding a very tight angle. And his movement has been extremely quick, and it has made it very, very difficult to get him out of certain areas. And although he might not be fragging as well as some other players, but he is still fragging fairly well, he's stopping that attack dead in its tracks. He's not letting anybody advance, and he's not letting anybody move on top of him because he is just holding to his guns and sticking very, very strong.
And right now, it looks like they're going to try and go for armory control. They're going to be pushing on to the east stairs once again. Whack opting for a buck this time in order to have the vertical gameplay of being able to destroy the floorboards along with his teammate Sushi. 2 very strong operators to do so. But the problem with that is they do have to get control of armory. And it looks like they're going to be holding that relatively strong. We can see the armor panels are going to be used on that archives doorway. And Jitaro is playing inside. He sees that wall is going to break. He knows it is going to be a glass outside, although that is kind of expected at this point. We can also see that Mick Foles is going to be playing on Ying. She is a very scary operator. Now, he wasn't able to do a whole lot with her last time, but we'll see if that changes without a sneak peek flank. He is going to be droning out right now, and he's going to be making his way onto the balcony as Durkin sets up a Claymore to watch for the flank from there. Sneak peek hits a couple of shots into the CC wall, not going to find anybody. A couple of pre-fires, but overall, nothing for him just yet.
A lot of time is ticking down here with this Seduction push. This roam is very, very good, and it's taking a lot of utility, a lot of time out of the attack. Castle, once again, Jitaro is just sticking with his guns. He has been sitting in this almost exact same spot, and nobody has really coughed him up. And just like that, the one that is going to cough up is going to be the Sledge, and he's able to get two. Sushi and Whack both going down to the castle, and it's going to be up, and Sneak Peek gets a kill onto McFoles. Ham is going to get a kill onto the Sneak Peek, so that's going to be a trade, but it's still going to be 2 players left here. Once again, it is Durkin and Ham. These are the exact same 2 players as the last time it was a 2v4. Can they change the outcome here?
Smoke Grenades going to be coming out, and Yokai charges are going to be going down on Durkin, so they know exactly where they are, and Jitaro just hanging out once again in that very powerful fountain spot. As Alfie makes his way into the office area, Ham is going to push outside, but it's not going to be enough. Alfie and Jitaro with the double 2K right now. They are going to clean up round number 5 with a great victory. Really good flank and really good teamwork coming out from Preston's Blade, and a great hold by Jitaro. I believe that was a 3K for him,
yes,
if I do. Yes, so I was correct on that. And once again, in that Archives fountain area, they cannot get him out of there.
Here is the one weakness for Seduction that I have pinpointed time and time again. They invest too much time on the roam. Yes, you want to clear the roam. Yes, you want to get rid of those roamers and those operators. But did you see how much numbers, how much utility they invested into just Jitaro? Too much.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just too much.
And they still couldn't get him.
And he, in the end, got a 3K. The solution, I've said this last match, sometimes the best solution to getting rid of roamers is ignoring them completely. Yes, it's not ideal, but right now Seduction have to pull a couple things out of the bag. And we need to see them either do a really focused roam clear, get those roamers out of the picture, or just try to focus on sight. That entire last match, they didn't touch the same floor as the site once. Nope. Not even the same room. The same floor. They only stuck up top, and that's something they have to address here very quickly, or Crescent's Blade are going to be put on the match point.
Exactly, because that was essentially a 2v5, and it was not one that they even came close to winning, and you really don't see that too often. I honestly think that it was kind of the operator selection, which was the most important. They knew they were going to be getting into these close-range battles, yet they still do things like they chose Glaz. They had, a Sledge without his sidearm outside, which is typically going to be the more powerful gun in closer range combat. So I think it was just kind of, they had some strategies. They were like, okay, we're going to play these operators attacking this site, but they weren't really able to adapt to how Crescent's Blade was playing.
And that was their problem when Seduction was on attack. But let's see what they figure out here on defense. Defense is slightly favored, very, very slightly favored on Border. Can Seduction capitalize on that favoritism? Can they capitalize on those slight numbers in their favor? That's going to be the question, because they don't want to let CB on match point this early on.
Is that Haste running the G36 on Ash?
That
is.
That is very, very, very interesting. Wow.
I'm not sure if that's a mistake or not, but he is going to be pushing down in that back area. Very smart move coming out from him. What typically they're usually going to do is they're going to push into that little back area near Benson Workshop in order to get the bandit charges off of the walls if there are any. But Sneak Peek is going to get into a battle with the Legion right there. The two of them are going to get into an exchange, but Sneak Peek is going to be on the losing end of that, as if Durkin is going to find the frag, but I don't think they realize that he is actually down right now, and it looks like he's going to get away safely still for now, at least as they get into a larger gunfight. Seems like Sneak Peek is actually going to be saved, as Alfie's going to find a kill onto Whack, taking him out early on. And from behind, Facebook is going to kill Durkin, and it looks like Sneak Peek is going to get away with his life.
Just like that, a situation that was a 4v5 in favor of Seduction is quickly back turned to a 5v3. It's going to be all up to Mick Foles, Ham, and Sushi here, and it seems like they're putting bodies in incorrect places. We saw 2 people push that IQ as Mick Foles is able to get a kill on a Sneak Peek, so closing back to level terms here as Sushi turns it right back onto its head, and it's going to be a 3v3. Much smarter play there from Seduction, just picking their gunfights, but it's not enough as that guy on Facebook is able to take out the Valkyrie of McFoles and is back to a 3v2.
And even though Sushi is still alive, once again, is Ham with the potential clutch coming out in this 2v3 right now. Now, he is Pulse, and he does have a Nitro Cell. That is a very scary combination that is still on the board. He's going to be using his cardiac sensor in order to try and figure out where they are exactly. Not going to use his to find anybody out, however, as his teammate plays up top right now. 55 seconds, they have to begin to push onto it. Exothermic charge is going to be going down, and it looks like that's going to be the second wall that's opened up. And Ham is going to find a kill onto Alfie. That's going to even us up to a 2v2 right now. Diffuser is right outside right now. Jitaro is going to have to pick it up and prepare for the plant right now. They don't have a lot of time on the board, only 35 seconds left before they can actually get into it as Jitaro spots out the black eye just outside of there right now. And it looks like Sushi is going to try and peek outside with the Toxic Babe. Unfortunately for him, it's not going to cost him his life, just about 50 HP. And that's going to delay this even further. 20 seconds left. Ham has spotted somebody out on the cardiac sensor, and this is all up to Jitaro right now.
These are the two operators you would love to have in a last-second situation. Pulse to call out the information, and Sushi just to hold it off, as Smoke is the best operator to directly stop a push inside. But the plant looks like it's still going to be coming down. He cannot fake, so Sushi is not going to be able to push, but he decides, well, I'm going to fake, and that's just like that. Time is the factor there. So great round on defense. It went in favor of Crescent's Blade for a 5v3 for a considerable amount of time. Then we saw the Pulse and Smoke stay very, very strong, as well as McFoles on the Valkyrie was very, very strong, even it back up to a 3v3. And just that extra intel that Pulse had, I think, was the difference in that round. The one thing that we have to take away, though, from Seduction there is they are putting their guns and putting their bodies in very bad positions. What I mean by that is we saw 3 operators for Seduction push that IQ, and not one of them killed the IQ in that situation. It was then later on the round when they got behind her and finally got the kill. I think they're just getting a little bit too aggressive and could potentially be walking into their death, and they need to watch that a little bit more.
Right, and we can see Seduction is going to be swapping to a different site right now, obviously, because they won that. And the 6 picks are going to be coming out with Haste choosing a REDCUBE and an Alibi coming out. This is a very interesting choice. Typically, Alibi isn't too popular right now. Usually, you are going to be opting for a Maestro instead, but they already have 2 ACOGs. They go, hey, let's have a really strong roamer who can also do a lot of damage with her Prisma devices, because, you know, once you get to this higher level of competition, typically people aren't going to shoot an Alibi hologram because they're going to be thrown out early beforehand, or they're good enough to realize, hey, this is a fake Alibi. So what she is used for, however, is setting up into places where they'll pre-fire and try to get a wall bang.
Exactly.
And that's going to be the main thing about her, is that she's able to place these in situations where they're just going to pre-fire it anyway, not knowing that it's there and accidentally picking themselves because of that. It's going to work out in their favor quite a bit.
Yeah, you essentially have a lion on your team who can track, or more like a jackal who can track certain spots. And you sometimes see just windows and doors that any operator, any player would just typically shoot down. You're going to see an Alibi right behind that. They're accidentally going to shoot that Alibi, and there comes the intel. So Alibi, if played correctly, can be a very, very strong operator. But before we get into this round, as obviously the attack is going to ensue here very, very soon, something to note is Durkin and Whack, who are the 2 main fraggers for Seduction, have seen a lot of operator changes and are also putting up a jelly donut. So they're definitely struggling a little bit, and there's definitely some confusion between the 2 of them, and they need to figure that out here soon because they don't want Crescent Blade to go on to match point.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that's the problem in these situations, is that the good thing for Crescent's Blade is now that they've created such a large lead, especially on the side that, you know, typically is going to be the more powerful one before the halftime. Now they have a couple of rounds to kind of, if they make mistakes, they aren't going to be as negative.
Punished. Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. They're not going to be as punished for it because they have a little bit of breathing room. They can wiggle around a little bit and kind of make a couple mistakes and maybe take a couple risks that pay off solely to the fact they have rounds in hand. So we see right now the attack is going for an up-top control. Definitely trying to focus a lot of guns, as that is a great start. That is Whack off of the board. That is going to be the Alibi, the very strong roamer, and Whack is still searching for that very, very first kill. So he is struggling a lot. That's a great flick there from Ham. Takes out Sneak Peek. Doc is going to be detected and is also going to be riddled by shots, but Durkin is able to get the, not even the trade, but able to finish off Alfie as the shots were riddling in onto that Doc. What a great way of communicating, almost like a bait and switch there to kill that IQ.
What a great save and a good way to break that donut curse right now, as Jitaro is going to be opening up a couple of these hatches with her lifeline. Right now, we can see that they are beginning to push onto the site. Facebook is going to make a call out on somebody in custom, so they know somebody is going to be there, as they still are in control of the top floor. Haste is looking around trying to find anybody, as the drones are going to be coming out trying to get the information on the people on site. Looks like nothing's going to be happening just yet. Haste watching the rotation from Customs as Facebook tries to get a couple of shots through the floorboards below, not finding anybody as Jitaro's camera gets taken out. 45 seconds there, have to prepare to actually push onto the site right now. We can see a lot of them are going to be injured, and Durkin's going to get spotted out by Jitaro. That's going to be the first frag on this assault right now, taken out to turn this into a 3v3, evening up the operators right now as Haste finds a kill onto Sushi right now. Very good play coming out from them. McFoles is going to get into a gunfight with Haste as well, trying to get the refrag, but that's going to be no dice as he rotates back into sight. A couple of lifeline charges are going to blind him, and the launch bomb is going to be going down. He does have overview of the hatch right now, but he's going to decide to reset his phone at that point right now, just at the inopportune moment as they are going to begin to drop hatch. They do have to get the plant down. 10 seconds left right now, and there's still two members of Seduction left alive, as Jitaro is going to find a kill on a Ham, checking him out from the basement. This is all up to McFoles. He tries to go for an outer thing, but he's going to get caught outside and run right into the gunfire of Haste, and Crescent Blade is going to push this into match point.
Something to note that is very interesting, we've seen McFoles in that exact same situation before, and he clutched it out in a 3v1. And you know what they say, lightning doesn't strike the same place twice. Unfortunately there, McFoles was not able to clutch that one out. It's really funny because it was actually almost the exact same plant, exact same operators, but there was just a couple of things changed. But unfortunately, not able to get that clutch, and McFoles is actually going to be opting for this alibi, but I think that could be just to throw them off, and I'm going to expect that to be a 6th pick, because McFoles is not really the roaming type of operator and type of person to roam, so I'm definitely expecting a 6th pick off of that alibi. Maybe to just throw Crescent Blade off a little bit.
Yeah, as we can see here, two very hard roamers. I'm expecting one of them to be more like a Legion or something that is off-site. I don't really think they're going to be going through with that. But the question is, which one is it going to be? That's the fun thing about the 6th pick, is you never know. And it looks like it is going to be...
Neither? Possibly. He has confirmed his loadout, Alibi and Ella, both of which are on two people that aren't typically your roamers, are going to be running with that roam. But you know what they say, sometimes the risk is what you need to take, and I think this is a big risk. And is it going to work out? Possibly here for Seduction, as they are under a lot of pressure here, as Crescent Blade are on match point, but they say pressure does shape legends. It's time for Seduction to become the legend.
Now, right now, we can also see that they are going to be switching up their strategies. If you notice, they don't have a castle, which means they are not going to be playing in bathroom. They're instead going to leave that for Crescent's Blade to attack if they do want to try that. However, I don't think they're going to even go for bathroom. I mean, you know, for the most part, it's kind of expected that if they don't have a castle, they are still going to be playing in there instead. So they are just going to reinforce that off completely, which I don't think Crescent's Blade is going to expect. So, you know, the main thing with this game right now is, and we see it in a lot of pro games, you could win the first 3 or 4 rounds or even get to match point, but if the other team is able to adapt to what you're doing, you are going to have a tough time of actually getting that win. We can see Sneak Peek is going to be making his way into break room on the very popular Lion choice. Now, he has been doing a great job recently, but there is someone playing in CCTV right now that he doesn't know about. His teammate is going to be droning him out, so that might have the ability of actually using that knowledge to their advantage. McFoles is going to get spotted out on that drone, and he's trying to take it out right now. Peeks the break room doorway, almost lands a shot onto one of the members of Crescent's Blade, but he has to panic and get out of there as fast as he can. One of the alibi charges is going to be going down, and they're making their way into CCTV one by one.
And just like that, CCTV break room control has been completely granted, but not full up top control, as Ella is still looming here. This could be a great spot for her to peek out, but Haste is going to drone Ella out, and unfortunately Sushi is going to find himself actually behind half shelf. And just as I realized, Ham as well is upstairs, so there is 3 people on site. Actually, no, 2 people on site, as there is a off-site anchor with the Ella. But a pretty heavy roam up top here, and it's definitely trying to assert some map control from Seduction. Dirk, as Sneak Peek is able to get the kill onto Ham. My fault. I thought that was Durkin who was running the dock, but he's actually going to be running the Maestro. First EE1D is going to be coming out just in time for the Lion to die. Identity is hidden, but Jitaro is able to kill Ella, and it's just those wall hacks. You know what they say? Just don't move, but sometimes that's not always the smart thing to do.
Exactly. Unfortunately, there was just nothing that he could do there as we head into this 3v4 right now in favor heavily of Crescent's Blade. They have a minute left, and they have basically control on the upper floor of the site, but there's still the possibility that Seduction is going to win this out, as they do have to get down there and plant or get the frags to end the round right now. This is match point. They have to play very carefully. Facebook is looking down below at the rotational, trying to find them out as his teammates begin droning, trying to figure out where they are, but McFoles is ready for the flank. He is going to spot the Claymore and the drone right now. He is going to try and get that out, but that's going to give away a lot of noise and potentially his position as well. He is going to try and go for the run out, making his way back into the office area, not spotting anybody out just as Alfie is going to find a kill onto Whack, taking him out early on. This is a 2v4 right now. McFoles is going to be going for the flank. He just barely misses Jitaro. Going to rush inside, find the knife kill, however, as he begins onto the drone right now. 30 seconds left. Alfie is going to find another kill under his belt to clear out the flanker, making sure that he's not going to do anything like that as they prepare to actually push into the site. Dirk and last member alive in this 1v3 right now, watching Customs, making sure they're not going to be pushing from that way. He is not in a very good spot right now. He knows somebody is metal hallway, tries to get a couple of shots, but it's not going to be enough. That guy on Facebook is going to find the kill, and Crescent's Blade will be taking map number 1.
And looking at that last play here from Durkin, he was caught in such a very, as Whack is saying, this is a first, because in most of the scrims, we've seen Seduction take border pretty convincingly, but obviously, Crescent's Blade has done their homework. But something to see at the very, last kill is we saw there was a spot that Durkin was in where he was backed into a corner, and he was just stuck there. And you know what they say, when you back a dog into a corner, it's going to bite. But in that situation, when you have 3 people coming at you with guns, biting is not going to be enough. And unfortunately, that's going to be the match point win for Crescent's Blade. And that is going to be a great starting map win for Crescent's Blade. Can they carry on that confidence into the next map? Let's just wait and see, as there's going to be a brief intermission here.
Eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you, 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 for you. Won't you let the light shine through?
Good luck, have fun, boys.
Same.
Good luck, have fun.
Have fun. I love you.
No, you. Love me.
You're gonna make me cry.
I love you. You love me.
We're all dead in our family.
Hey man, I was actually crying earlier.
Oh.
Got a lot of playing through personal matters.
All right, guys, we are back after such a great song there from the players. It was always interesting to hear the mid-game conversations, but we got to hear a little bit more of it than I think a lot of people bargained for. But we are going on to map 2, and this is going to be on to Oregon. This is going to be interesting. Can Seduction pull it back, or are we going to see a little bit more of the same? Do they have the mental capacity to bring it back here after a very, very tough loss on border?
Yeah, that definitely has to hurt them. But the good thing is this is also Oregon, and once again we are going to see the Jackal come out of there. I believe that's going to be a Team Seduction ban, if I do remember correctly.
That's going to be yes Team Seduction ban, because I think that's definitely got to be a targeted ban at this point. There's something with that Jackal that they are trying to get rid of, because on Oregon, yes, Jackal is viable in a lot of situations, but you're typically looking for some other operators such as a Glaz, who is going to be taken off of the board for CB.
Yeah, very interesting choice there. I'm actually kind of surprised they did it, since, no offense to him, he did get a couple of amazing shots, especially early on, but I really feel like it wasn't doing what it could have done. And the Mira ban's going to be coming out. Once again, that's going to make that very difficult to actually hold down laundries and kids. So that's going to be interesting to see if they're just going to try and play those sites, and maybe they have some strategies without the Mira, or maybe they're going to try and pull a little bit of a couple of different things, maybe go kitchen, maybe go tower. We'll see how they do.
We are looking at CB right now and looking at the bans they've done. They're always doing more typical bans. Echo is a lot more typical as well, but what we saw from Seduction that last game as well as this game, they're doing more bans that are kind of out of the ordinary, and I think more direct target bans. Whereas Crescent's Blade, they're taking out the Glaz because they don't want to do it the Glaz, and they're taking out the Mira because Mira is banned so very often. So that's a kind of what I've seen from the two, and that really points to the play styles of both of these teams. Crescent's Blade, I think, is a lot more traditional, whereas Seduction, I think they like to change it up and like to kind of throw some curveballs at the other team. And because these teams know each other so well, those curveballs are well needed.
Yeah, and you really don't see a lot of targeted bans, especially in Pro League. You think it would be a good idea, but So it's very interesting to see Seduction doing it. And, we can't really know if it's actually helping or hurting them, basically, because, there's a lot of better bans that people would argue that they could do. One of them's a Blitz, a Ying, a Blackbeard. There's a lot of other options you have. So it's really interesting that they're going to stick to Jackal not once, but twice in 2 maps.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting to note, as well as the fact, I was going to say Vigil going on to Whack. That is one of, I think, his favorite operators, but he's going to be going back down to that Alibi, which is just as interesting because Alibi, like we saw last match and like we've seen so many times before, she's not necessarily the most viable operator. She has her spots, she has her picks and places, but she's not an operator you're going to say, oh, we need her, we need this because of this, because of this. She's not like a Smoke, she's not like a Mira. She's an Alibi who kind of is a curveball. And again, like I said, Seduction sure do like those curveballs.
Yeah, maybe they're going to do something. I think an idea that they could do with the Alibi is to actually put it on top of the washer, which means that if they want to get the diffuser down on there, they actually either have to A, risk shooting it and not looking away at the cube, which will give away their position to destroy it, or they're just going to vault on top of it and give away their position, because if you run into them, that also gives away where you are. So I'm not sure if Quack is going to be doing that, but...
Yeah, but as Habana there just forgot her gun at home, she's able to pick it up, though, later on there, so she's all good to go. But the push is going to be happening here for the attacking team. They are looking like they want to get a lot of control of up top. Almost all of the bodies so far. We have Sneak Peek, Habana, as well as REDCUBE, all looking at this up top hold, and Alibi is going to be met with a barrage of bodies. She's going to have to hold it very, very well here, because a lot is going to be put into this push.
And Whack is starting to feel the pressure of his Crescent's Blade teammates as more drones and operators and bodies come into play right now. He's going to be rotating back on the site, and I think he kind of has to get away with his life. Facebook just barely missing him while Whack safely rotates back on the site. Jitaro still looking around, and you can tell that they don't even realize where Whack is, and they don't even know that he is actually back on the site. You can see that they're trying to figure out where he is. They're checking kids, they're checking bedroom, they're checking armory, they're checking everywhere. So it's kind of a smart move from Whack there, because he's wasting a lot of their time. And they still have people roaming off the site. We can see that Jerkin and McFulls are playing in that watchtower area. He is going to be up top, while his teammate Legion is going to be down below right there. So very smart plays and very good roaming coming out from them as they begin to push back onto their own site. You can see Jerkin's going to look into blue, and 1 minute and 27 seconds left. Crescent's Blade has to begin their push.
Like we've said time and time again, to be a good roamer doesn't mean to get a bunch of kills. It means to waste the time of the attack, and that's exactly what Whack did. It's very interesting to see that, because he was upstairs for about 30 seconds and then quickly went downstairs, and it wasted an entire minute, at least, for this Crescent's Blade team. So that points to just very, very smart play from Whack. He not only escaped with his life, but McFulls is not going to be as lucky, as he is going to go down. But there's just a lot of time here that has been wasted, and the push is going to have to commence here soon, as we are reaching the 50-second mark. And nobody really has control of site yet. Everyone's just holding down angles.
Now the meeting hall hatch is open, and it looks like they're going to prepare to go there, as Whack is going to find his very first kill of this series. Jitaro is going to get taken out. Great shot coming out from him, and a good way to redeem yourself early on with the roaming and the frag right now. It looks like one of the teammates, Hates, is trying to get the refrag, but that is not going to be the case, as Facebook prepares to go for the plant. The remote gas grenade is going to be coming out, but I think he actually has the ability to get the plant down, as the E1D charge is going to go down as well. Capture grenades are going to be going off right now, and the diffuser is going to be typed in. They're typing in those nuclear launch codes as the logic bomb goes off, and chaos and anarchy reigns. Whack is going to get taken out by Alfie as the diffuser goes down right now. Facebook is going to be pushing forward into the basement hallway, trying to find a frag. Will he be able to get one? Spot somebody on the tower stairs, is going to call that out. See what's going to happen. He's going to be making his way down for the flank right now. He spots somebody. That's going to be another kill for him. Ham is going to get taken out, and the E1D charge is going to be going down again. This is not looking very good for the defenders. Sushi and Durkin are both in meeting hall right now, and one of them is in the attic, and they are not looking too good. They have to go right now. They don't have control of the site. They don't know where anybody is. This is not looking good for them. Sushi is going to get caught out right there in the classroom area. He's going to run into the two of them. Not going to actually go for the shot right now. Durkin, though, with the 2K, is going to find two members of Crescent's Blade, and Sushi is going to find one as well. Will he have time to go for the diffuser? He doesn't even realize where Facebook is, though, but he doesn't have enough time, and it looks like they are going to be picking up round one, which is going to be Crescent's Blade.
We saw such good roam game from Whack, and it's very unfortunate because it wasn't capitalized on from Seduction. it slowed down that plant and that push so much, but they still were just not able to control it as well as they needed to. The plant still came down, and look who the last 2 operators were. 2 operators who weren't even on the same floor as the site. They were either in attic or in the meeting hall, forcing that retake from such a deep position, as well as going up against 4 operators, having that diffuser ticking down. That's a lot of pressure you're putting on 2 operators that aren't necessarily going to be built for going for frags. They're going to be built for holding down site, as it was a Legion and a Smoke, I think it was. So those 2 operators, they're built to holding off a push, and they're built for intel and things like that, as Legion with his mines can tell you exactly where they've been put, and that's why he's an intel operator. But they're not built for clutching a 4v2 and having to retake site when they're both in meeting hall and the site is far, far downstairs. So very, very questionable hold from Seduction. It's almost like they let that plant come down and then they just retreated out of sight, and I think that was definitely not the smart move. It's going to be interesting. Are they going to be able to address it as they go back to laundry room supply?
Yeah, indeed. And we almost saw there that it looks like Seduction might have been able to actually win that. I mean, that was an amazing flank from the 2 of them to even it up from a 2v4 to a 1v1 at the end there. And if, they had a little bit of more time, the possibility that, I believe the last one was Sushi, the possibility that he was actually going to be able to clutch it out was actually pretty good if he was able to get a kill on TikTok on Facebook. But he didn't have enough time at the end there, so Crescent Plate still took the first victory on Oregon right now as they prepare to try and defend Laundry once again.
So we are seeing Sushi and Ham trade roles, as Ham is going to be opting for the Smoke and Sushi is going to be opting for the Maestro. This is definitely a change that I guess we all didn't really expect. This Sushi was very well as a Smoke, as he was able to even it out to a 1v1. But I think the problem that Seduction had with Sushi's play as a Smoke was he didn't prevent that plant from coming down, and he just didn't aim his gas canister correctly, and Habana was able to sneak past on the right side of those stairs and just get on top of default and put that plant down. So I think that's why they were seeing that change come out, and maybe that's exactly what Seduction needs.
I also think it's a smart play to actually get off of the Alibi, because we can really tell that both teams are trying to make it work. It's just Alibi is not. I personally thought she was going to be the next Alibi. I thought she was going to be the
for sure.
Pick right, but great shot coming out from Sneak Peek to get an early frag out onto Durkin, who got a little too greedy and was like, hey, there's someone outside dining. I got this. But
Does
no,
he?
you don't. And Facebook is going to try and get a couple of spray downs onto the wall as well. Not going to find a kill, however, but Haste with a run out. Or I'm sorry, McFoles with the run out. That's going to be punished by Haste as well. I'm surprised that they're trying to peek out so much. And Whack with another kill also. He's going to get a refrag on his teammate, but lots of weird deaths.
Yeah, very aggressive play, and we saw this last match. When Seduction were on defense, they kept investing into one kill with gunfights, and they put so many bodies in those situations. We saw both Mick Foles and Durkin die to that same kind of playstyle. Yes, aggression is good. Yes, being aggressive is strong, and it can throw teams off. But there comes a point when you have to calm it down a little bit. And right there, I think just 2 really, really unorthodox plays from Seduction. And we see Crescent's Blade. They made them punish for it.
Exactly. We can see Haste is playing in the garage area right now. He does have somebody getting pinged right now. Jitaro is going to be tossing a couple of those lifelines into the kitchen area, accidentally stunning himself a bit, but Whack is completely blinded right now. The 2 of them are going to run into each other, and Jitaro is going to be on the giving end of those bullets. He's going to say, thank you very much for the kill right now. That's going to turn this into a 2v4 once again in favor of Crescent's Play. Now, Ham and Sushi, once again, last one's alive. They were almost able to clutch it last time. Will they be able to be successful this round? Evil Eyes are going to be coming out. Haste is going to spot somebody. I'm sorry, that's going to be Sushi playing on there. Habana's going to get caught out right now. Looks like they're trying to bait a couple of those shots. 38 seconds left. They have to begin to push onto the site. And it looks like Crescent's Blade is actually trying to go for a back push from Meeting Hall. They're going to be opening up those hatches and getting control from that angle.
What we are seeing is Ham does have all of his gas canisters. He has 2 gas canisters left, as I apologize, he doesn't have all of them, but those are going to become very, very helpful. It's getting late into the round, and there goes 1, so he has 1 more left. Plant looks like it cannot come down, but it is still going to be able to come down right behind default there. Ham has got to throw another gas canister, but it's not going to land on the Habana. But Maestro is becoming the savior here. the plant is still going to be able to come down. Maestro's so very close to getting that kill on the Hibana. She's so low, but it just wasn't enough, as the shots are going to be riddling through here from the Maestro onto that trapdoor area, but not able to find the head of REDCUBE. She is going to be dropping down and is also going to be able to get that kill. Great. Actually, no, that was a flank there from that guy on Facebook, as the Hibana is able to get that kill. I think that was the Hibana. Yes, the Hibana is able to get that kill. And another round here going for Crescent's Blade. Right now, what I'm seeing, this is from some inside knowledge I know of Seduction, the Crescent Blade matchup. Almost every scrimmage I've watched between these two teams, Seduction have been on the winning end of it. Crescent's Blade have came to play. They've looked over everything. They've looked over all the strats. And that's what's separating these two teams right now. I think Crescent's Blade are just one step ahead. And being that one step ahead, you could just be one very, very small measurement ahead. And that's going to give you the advantage in Rainbow Six.
Exactly. And you know, scrims, they mean a lot, but that's the place where you're not trying to win. The goal of scrims is to improve your strategies, see how your opponents play just a little bit, and overall become a better player. In these type of league games, your goal is to win. You're not going to be trying out new strategies. You're not going to be trying really stupid high risk, high reward plays. You're going to try and win. You're going to do the best way that you can. I mean, there have been plenty of teams. I think you gave me an example of one where they won. They had a 40, 50 plus win on scrims, and they just weren't able to get it in leagues because of a bunch of other issues. But, you know, there's plenty of teams out there who do great in scrims, and then once it comes to game time, they aren't able to succeed.
Exactly.
And this could potentially be the case here. Now, Seduction, they are still a very good team. I believe the last map on Border was 6-3, if I do remember correctly.
It was 6-3.
Yes. Awesome. So that's, you know, that's nothing to scoff at. That's not an amazing score, but that's not a bad one either. So this is still fair game right now, but they do need to kind of widen that gap. And I think maybe attacking a different site is going to, or I'm sorry, defending on a different site is going to help them.
And I think I think one of the most important rounds for Seduction is this one right here. If it goes to a 3-0, the worst lead to have is 2. It's I'm taking this from soccer, or football, as if any of you guys are familiar with it. Obviously, the World Cup is going on as well. A 2-goal lead is the most dangerous, because one round or one goal, that team is right back in it. That's just one goal and you tie it up, or one round and you're tied up, and that's a lot of momentum for them as well. So right here, Seduction getting a win here is very, very important. They need to pull something out, and they need to pull it out quickly. They can't let Crescent's Blade start running away with it, because that's going to be a snowball effect, and Crescent's Blade are just going to start rolling over them with that ginormous snowball that is forming.
Exactly. Right now, we can see, though, that they do have a very strong strategy, a lot of Gersmont mines, a lot of peak holes, and overall, it looks like this will be a little bit easier for them to defend. I think the problem is that that Vera ban by Crescent Blade, I really think that's actually playing a key role in how they defended Laundry Site, because it seemed like their strategies were mostly set up to have a Mira in order to stop these plants with nitro cells or the remote gas grenade. So maybe on Kids, now that they have something different, Durkin is going to spot out the Lion, though, but he's actually going to lose that sneak peek, peeking inside, living up to his name once again. And he's going to find the kill into Durkin. That's going to be the smoke taken off the board early on, and Whack is going to drop down as well because of Jitaro. McFoles is going to find a kill to at least try to get it closer to being an even operator score right now, as he is on the roam. But that is going to be the Lion taken off the board, so the EE1D charges are now gone. But McFoles finding another kill. He's actually going to have the ability to even it up. Good kills on him, good roaming potential. That's going to be a second kill. Will he be able to get the third one? No, Alfie's going to finally get the refrag. And this is a 3v2 situation in favor of Crescent's Blade once again.
Crescent's Blade are continuing to use those holes against the other team. We've seen a bunch of holes get opened up here for the defensive team, but the thing you got to remember, those holes work both ways. Those angles work both ways.
Yes.
2 kills are coming from their own in-the-floor holes, and they got to just be watching those, because Crescent's Blade should not be capitalizing on your own hold. If that makes sense, it's because the Valkyrie and the Aoeah here, as obviously you see Aoeah looking at a hole right there, that is their own idea. That is their hold. That is what the defense wants. You can't let Crescent's Blade use that better than you are using that. And that's kind of what we've seen so far, because 2 kills are coming from those exact same positions. And that's something Seduction got to pay a little bit more attention to.
And along with that, if you're up above on the second floor and you're trying to peek down to the first floor, you have a major advantage.
For sure. It's so much easier to see.
You have so much more visibility, and also you have the entire body of the other person in plain view, while they can only see your head. But now the issue with that, Ham is going to get into a gunfight right now. They are going to be rushing inside as he retreats back into kids. They're going to try and chase him down. However, Alfie is going to find a kill on Sushi, and it's all up to Ham, who injured down that guy on Facebook right now. So this is essentially a 1v2. He's going to get into a gunfight with the both of them. Not going to be able to find the kills, doing a lot of damage on Digitro, but he's going to be forced to retreat back and drop down onto the site right now, but they don't have a whole lot of time. Alfie has to go for this diffuser denial. He's going to try and get a couple of shots through the floorboard below, but he's not going to find the person actually diffusing, as Alfie is going to pick up his teammate. Jiro and that guy on Facebook are left alive along with Alfie. Ham was almost able to save it there, but unfortunately that wasn't the case, as he makes his way back onto the site for the retake. 1v3 right now. He's at about 50 health. They're going to peek him inside though, and Facebook is going to get his revenge and take round number 3.
So look who killed him, the person who was down. So yes, you said the revenge from Habana is able to clutch that round out for Crescent's Blade, and that is on to a 3-0 now. That was a very important round for Seduction to win, and Crescent's Blade said, no thank you, we'll take that right out from under you. Something I have just been looking at right now, I think it's pronounced Jitero. If I'm not, I'm going to just keep saying Jitero. If that's wrong again, just please let me know. But obviously, the J-I sound can have a lot of combinations, so we apologize if we are mispronouncing that name. But looking again at just the scoreboard, it doesn't really say the full picture, because a lot of these rounds have really come down to the last second. That one, although it was a 3v1, there's a couple things that easily could have flipped that in the defense's favor. If Ham, I think, stayed put instead of dropping down and forcing that rotate, if he killed that Zofia, then he would have pushed right onto that Habana who was picking up the defuse, and that would have been an easy win for Ham. It's just missing a couple shots on that Zofia early is what was the difference. It's always the little things that make the difference. Every single game of Rainbow Six, it's reliant on these smallest details. It's almost like an upside down pyramid. The big things aren't as important, but these small things is what the foundation of Rainbow Six is.
Yeah, and Ham was almost able to get that back at the very end there. He has very good aim, and you can really see it in that. Along with that, he was actually almost able to stop the diffuser plant. And if he was actually, if they were pinging the correct person and he was able to take down Alfie, or at least get him into the injured state just enough to stop it, he would have been able to actually win that 1v3 clutch. Unfortunately for him, though, it just wasn't written in the start, but a very valiant attempt as they could return back onto the kid's site. Now, it looks like they are going to be changing a couple of things up. They do have the pulse right now, which is going to allow them to play vertically and try to win those a couple more times. And along with that, they have also opted to switch off of the Aoeah right now. So we saw a lot of barbed wire onto the white stairs. We can see that McFoles is setting himself up in the kitchen area. So let's see if they are able to adapt and overcome Crescent's Blade and finally get a point on the board.
Something to note here is with McFoles on that pulse, the best person to watch on a pulse, especially on this map, would be Canadian in the Penta versus EG invitational match. He was so strong with him, and almost 100% positive McFoles has studied that game time and time again. He's looking to make an impact here. He's looking to change this game and flip it on its head. He's looking to get this point, and he needs to be. He needs to be aggressive, but he can't be too aggressive. We've seen Seduction have walked into some kills that are just unnecessary. He needs to be smart, and just like that, unlucky. They're just looking at the wrong side of the wall, and Zofia with that lifeline opens a hole right onto the Pulse's head.
I think that they really need to start running a vigil, because it seems like they're just getting droned out left and right. They cannot roam safely with all those people gathering that information. I think vigil would help them, but unfortunately that just wasn't the case for them. However, Facebook is going to be making his way onto the main lobby, and Sneak Peek might actually run into the bandit. Yes, Jerkin's going to get taken out with a great shot from Sneak Peek there. That's going to be the Lion taking out the bandit, and that's going to turn this into a 3v5 almost immediately into the round, make that a 3v4, though Sushi is going to have the ability to get the refrag from above at the vertical angles of Attic right now. He is going to get droned out. However, Ham is playing on those white stairs, and Sushi is on the armory side of it right now. More drones are going to be coming out, and hopefully they'll be able to at least even this back up with another frag, turn this into a 3v3 situation. Alfie is going to be using his electronics detector to figure out a couple of different things, like where some of these bandit charges are, where the cameras are, but overall nothing going on just yet.
that is a huge kill to get. Getting rid of that Lion who hasn't used any of his EE1Ds is a lot of momentum forced right back into the defense. Obviously, defense doesn't have the numbers, but I think right now they have the utility advantage. The other operator that you really want to get off the board right now is that Hibana. Get rid of that hard Destructor. It's going to be very, very hard for this team to push. But Crescent's Blade, they're playing it smart. They're playing it controlled, and they're playing it very slowly. But that could be the nail in the coffin for them. If they play too slowly, like I've said time and time again, what's the most important thing? Time management. They have to do it here, and they have to be smart. As Jitero is almost going to get almost pop the head off of Sushi, just missing the shots barely. And now 30 seconds left. The push is going to have to commence.
Oh my goodness, I think that Facebook and Haste are both missing each other. No, I'm sorry, they're on the attack. A little bit of a mistake there. I just realized that they were trying to get the bandit charges, but Facebook is going to be pushing inside, and they do have that open right there. The rotational is going to be coming out. A couple of shots are going to be going down, but none of them are going to connect with Ham. Yes, they are, though. Ham is going to get taken out. The Nitrocell is going to find Facebook, though. Alfie's going to find a kill as whack. Sushi with the 2K. He's got a 3K. Jitero and Haste are going to get taken out, but it's not going to be enough. And Alfie is going to clean up round number 4, and that's going to be another win for Crescent's Blade.
Great individual play there from Sushi, but again, I've said it so many times today. It's not about the individual, it's about the team play, and it's about who can go the extra inch. Crescent Blade are going that extra inch. Almost every round we've seen has really been very, very close, and I sometimes hate games like this when the scoreline doesn't say that. You're like, if someone comes and joins the stream right now, what they're going to see is 4-0. They're going to think, oh, wow, this is just a blowout. But it's not. It's very, very close games that are dictated by small mistakes and then small capitalizations on those mistakes. That's been the difference this entire time, and that continues to be the difference. The thing that Seduction has to do now is they have to flip that script. Instead of Crescent's Blade capitalizing on the mistakes, it's Seduction's turn.
Yeah, exactly. And this is going to be the last round of the half. So I'm guessing that Team Seduction, they at least want to get one round going into the next half, so they aren't going to have to play their very first attack in an effort to try and stop them from losing and turning it into a match point. So I think this is going to be a very important round for them to at least try to get one win on the board before transferring over to the attacking side. Because, you know, trying to switching sides, originally when it was back and forth, you could kind of figure out what the teams were going to be doing for both sides at this point in the game. But now they have no idea. So if Crescent's Blade on the defense their very first round and their match point, they might pull out some crazy strategy that just might work because Seduction won't know what to do against it. And so they have to be very careful. And it comes around to the fact, again, these two teams know each other very, very well. So it's going to take that team who takes the risk, who kind of throws a curveball once again, which Seduction are normally known for, but they really haven't pulled it out yet. And it might be Crescent's Blade turn to throw the curveball. It might be them to kind of back off of that traditional play style and kind of do something interesting. Another thing to note here is we're seeing a game that is severely in favor right now of the attack as it is 4-0. And it comes down again to either winning gunfights or very small mistakes, because unlike Border and unlike a couple other maps, Oregon's a map that's very 50-50. It's very defense favored and also offense favored. So there is not really a major advantage for either team, whether you're on offense or whether you're on defense. So that's something to note that has definitely been an effect in this game. And Ham is going to get spotted out on the drone while Haze peeks inside. Sneak Peek is going to catch him out right now, do a couple of shots into the generator, and almost finds the head of him, but he's not going to be able to clean up the kill onto Ham right now, who is still staying there with his teammate as well. Almost a minute into the round, and not a whole lot going on from the attacking side, as Sneak Peek is going to be opening up one of those windows as he makes his way on top of the third floor of the tower. Meanwhile, we can see that a lot of Seduction right now, they're playing in very interesting and different spots at the moment. And it seems like Crescent Blade, they're not really sure what they're doing just yet. They are setting themselves up to prepare to take out these tower guys as Sneak Peek pushes his way inside. But he has been dying a lot, and he hasn't been able to get those X-Kairos off. So we're going to see that happens again, because that's happened twice before. And, you know, you really want that Lion's Roar for these later rounds. Yeah, Sneak Peek getting a couple of shots into the attic area, not able to find anybody else. after, and this is still a 5v5 with no roamers. But just as I'm saying that, the two of them are going to get into a gun battle. Sneak Peek is dropping down at about 5 health. The stun grenade is going to be going down. That's going to blind Durkin, who tries to go for the knife, and he was almost successful. Close. It only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. McFoles is going to find Jitero right there, and he's going to dock himself back up to health. Minute and 20 seconds left, and this is a 4v4. Definitely in favor of Seduction right now.
Oh, for sure. Time is in favor right now of Seduction, going for the reset here. As do they have enough time for it? Sometimes those extra 5 seconds you need, they got to push very fast now. After that reset and after really nobody in sight putting a lot of pressure onto sight, they got to figure Crescent's Blade, that is, has to figure something out here very, very quickly if they want to be put onto match point. Seduction are playing this very well, and I think it also comes down to the fact we see a Vigil coming out, but Sushi is able to not even out the table, put the table in his favor, as Seduction now have 4 players and Crescent's Blade only have 3. Last 30 seconds here. What is going to happen? Vigil is going to be laying a couple shots onto IQ, and IQ has no idea where those shots are coming from, and Vigil is still waiting in waiting room. This could be a huge flank for him. He just has to be a little bit more patient, and it could be dangerous.
And Facebook is going to find a kill, as well as Whack is going to rotate back onto the site. They're going to be controlling that right now. A couple more shots coming down. Whack with the 1K as McFoles finds a kill as well. Alfie is going to grab one before his teammates go down, but this is a 1v2. Definitely in Seduction's favor right now. Looks like Alfie is going to try and push onto there. He only has 3 seconds left, which means he has to stick the diffuser, and it's not going to be enough. McFoles is going to find the kill. And a great way for Team Seduction to end out the first half is at least with a victory to make sure they are not going to be going onto the attacking side with a match point.
Every single sport, every single esport, every single basically area of where there is a score that is calculated, it's always good to get a score right before halftime. You see it in football, you see it in soccer, you see it in basketball. Getting a strong score right before halftime and switching of sides, that's huge for teams. Seduction needed that round. Going on to match point would have been absolutely terrible for Seduction. But they get that round, and they did it very, very well. That hold was very convincing, and it was a lot better than their previous holds. It was just more controlled, and it definitely threw Crescent's Blade off. Like you said, around 1 minute and 30 seconds, we both agreed upon the fact Crescent's Blade looked a little disjointed. They looked a little confused. They didn't really know what they wanted to do with their push. I think that was the difference maker. Just Seduction were a lot more organized in that defense.
Now, in my personal opinion, especially when you don't have a Mira, it is going to be a little bit easier to actually be on the attacking side instead of being on the defense as well. So I think that's also going to help out Seduction because, let me double check my notes here, but I think that they did a little bit better. Yeah, so they did win 1 round on attack and 1 round on defense last time. But the thing is with this right now is they definitely don't want to turn this into match point. You know, it's all about lowering that gap. They got 1 on the board already. They just need 3 more to even it up and get themselves back into this. Along with that, you know, due to the fact that Crescent's play 1 map number 1, they have a little bit more of a wiggle room to relax because they're already in the lead. They have map number 1. And all they have to do is get 2 more round wins and not allowed to get into overtime to win map 2. And if they don't, then they can go, hey, we still have 1 more map to go.
And something that's interesting to note is this is the exact same score of the Grunto Black Revolt game on this exact same map. And what we saw there was Revolt started crawling themselves back when they were put onto attack. Could we see the same thing here? But this time, is Seduction going to be able to pull it out at the very end? And instead of making it a 6-3 and losing when you bring 2 back, are they going to be able to send it all the way to overtime? The thing they need to fix the most, I think, is just organization. The one defense that they looked very, very organized was the one defense they won. That is no coincidence. There is no coincidences in Rainbow Six. Everything has a pattern. Everything has a reason. And I think the reason Seduction won that last round was just strong organization.
Yeah, and you know, that really says something about a team that's able to bounce back and not lose their motivation even when they're down 4 rounds and a map as well. So I think that helps. But the accidental TK, not sure where that came from.
I think he was going for the reset. He definitely was. Sneak was very, very low. They went for the reset and accidentally killed him.
Not what you want to do in a league game right now, especially since we were able to catch that out. And Alfie, well, throwing a little salt to his teammates and fun right now. Minute and 52 seconds left. We can see that Maestro doing a bit of offside roaming. It seems like they're trying to get control of tower on the Seduction side. Meanwhile, Crescent Blade is going to get a great kill. What an amazing flick onto Whack. Definitely whacked him off the board. No pun intended. Well, that's a lie. But that's going to be a very good kill to at least even it up into a 4v4.
What a great kill there from the Maestro. And that's not a typical spot you're seeing Maestro. Maestro roaming is just very, very unorthodox, and it's working right now. Alfie got one kill, and it's slowing this attack down. They're not pushing this side of the building solely because they know someone is watching there, and they also know that person watching just put off a great flick, so maybe let's stay away from him as long as possible. And right now, I think we're actually seeing Maestro is maybe setting up a run out for late in the round, and then just maybe rotating back into sight when he needs to be. Possibly could be the solution for Crescent Blade and could put them on match point, but it's not going to be that important as the defuse is going to be coming down, but Jotaro just missing. That guy on Facebook is able to get the kill on Sushi. Jotaro getting the McFulls, but he's not going to be able to get the diffuser as diffuser has been put down, and it looks like this is going to go in favor here of Team Seduction, and it is. Just like that, defenders are able to win the round. I mean,
no, Crescent's Blade.
Crescent's Blade, completely my fault. Crescent's Blade put onto match point. This C4, it did land, but they just didn't. The C4 landed, yes, but it killed the Monty and didn't kill the defuse. At that point, I was definitely leaning towards Seduction. They're like, okay, they got the plant down. All they need to do is watch it. They got that plant down, I think, a little bit too premature. There was not a lot of support.
100% shocked that Facebook was actually able to get the disable on the diffuser because, so in competitive play, the timer for the diffuser is different. In ranked, it's 4 seconds. That's very, very little time. But
7, I think.
It's gonna be. Yeah, it is 7. It is 7 to get it down and to disable it. So all they had to do was try to interrupt him and shoot him in that 7-second time span, and they weren't able to stop him. We saw that Ham try to rush inside and maybe rectify the round just a bit, but his teammates were watching that, and Crescent's Blade was able to win that. So a good start to turn this into match point, and we can see that Jotaro, which we have been pronouncing incorrectly, I do apologize to the player, is going to be switching over to the Vigil, who is extremely powerful on this map.
And something to note is we're now on match point here. I've complimented Seduction's team play and their communication in their comms before. I said this in Border. This is the moment when Mick Foles, who is the in-game leader, he needs to step up. He needs to say to his team, it's not over yet. It's not over until the fat lady sings, let's pull a couple rounds back here. Again, this is around the exact same spot we saw the Revolt game earlier today. And the thing is, Revolt slowly brought themselves back into the game, but they didn't get the win. We need to see Seduction. They need to bring themselves back into this game. Obviously, they need to win this round, and they need to win a lot of rounds after it, because if they don't, well, Grunto Black are taking, I mean, not Grunto Black, my fault. Crescent's Blade are taking the series.
Yeah, and they are doing a great job right now. Once again, it's match point, which means no matter what, they have at least secured the overtime, which can be a very good feeling for Seduction, who is pulling out the Montang once again. I'm not sure how this is going to work for them, especially due to the fact that there's a lot of Legion traps. There's impact nades on 4 members. They have the Smoke, who can toss remote gas grenades and use shotgun. I don't think it's going to be the best pick for them right now. Sneak Peek is playing on those tower stairs. He is going to catch out McFulls, who is going to retreat back outside, but immediately push in once again. They're going to try and get a couple of pre-fires. They aren't going to succeed, however. Instead, Seduction is going to try and get control of the tower area, and Whack is going to find the first kill of this round. Haste is going to get down early on. That is going to be the Castle down. That is not a lot of utility wasted, as I'm almost 100% positive. Castle definitely put his doors down. So not a lot of utility wasted there, but obviously numbers are back in favor here of the offensive team. And McFulls is going to be pushing down here on the tower stairs, but like you said, those Legion mines are going to be difficult for him to deal with. And also the fact there's so many peek holes and kill holes all over him and all over this site, he's going to have eyes on the back of his head for the entirety of this push. Looks like Seduction is going to be preparing to enter into the meeting hall area and gain control through that. They do have the opportunity to open up those hatches and play from those angles right now. Along with that, they are doing pretty good on time, whereas earlier today they were struggling to actually prepare their attacks and get rid of the roamers now that they have complete control of Meeting Hall with enough time to do so. But Jitaro, he still is in the back area. He's playing in kids right now. They have no idea where he is. They aren't even trying to drone him out, and this can really bite them in the ass later on. Right now, he's going to be watching from that angle into Pantry as McFoles begins to push into the base in the hallway. They do see him right there. They do know where he is. A couple of spray-ons are going to be going through the wall, although none of them are going to connect. 50 seconds left, and Seduction has to prepare to push inside right now.
Sushi is going to be pushing onto the north side of the bomb site B, but he's not actually going to commit to it. The free fire could kill McFoles right now, but it is going to be able to kill Ash. Ash is out of the picture. McFoles is taking a lot of damage, and there is just players all over as we see Smoke is in VR mode as McFoles is going to go down, and Jotaro, that flank is proving to be so deadly. Match point here, it's going to be all up to Ham. He's going to have to clutch it out. That is a great first step. He has 2 more to go. And he does get 1 more. Could this be it? As I'm trying to fix the spectator glitch so dearly. He's going to be pushing onto the smoke. And he's not going to be able to get the trade is actually going to come out.
Oh my goodness. So what does this mean? Is that in the game with the draw?
I actually have no idea.
I've never had this happen. Yes, it is. They both are going to get around.
Unfortunate. Both teams get around. I thought maybe it would be, say, like, okay, they just scratch that, and it would be 5-1 again. But unfortunately, we are going to have to end that series there. Crescent's played pretty convincingly, or able to win over Seduction. Not what a lot of people expected. And I think it just comes down to the fact Crescent's played, they did their homework, and they did it well. No cutting slack there as they studied and studied.
Good game, guys. That was great.
And
Yeah, good game,
GG
guys.
my.
Definitely got to feel a little bad for Ham there. He got the first kill, he got the second kill, and he technically got the 3rd kill. But unfortunately, it was a trade at the end there, but still great play coming out from there, from him at the end, trying to save his team basically after kind of a disappointing attack round.
What Crescent's Blade, not my fault, what Seduction are going to have to be looking at now is this is 2 losses in a row that have been fairly convincing. Yes, don't get me wrong, every single round was down to the last second, and it was little mistakes that set these teams apart, but still looking at that scoreboard, it was pretty convincing in favor of Crescent's Blade. And that's 2 in a row we've seen from Seduction where they have struggled a little bit. They're going to have to do a lot of work. They're going to definitely have to look over this VOD, pinpoint certain areas, and maybe pull out a couple new strats because something just isn't right. Obviously, they need to fix it here soon because they don't want to keep going into a hole that they can't get themselves out of. But we're going to be moving on to the interview now, seeing what was going through the heads of the players throughout the entire time and exactly what was happening with Crescent's Blade as they took the victory 2-0 over Team Seduction. We'll be right back with you guys in about 3 minutes with this interview. All right, guys, we are back here. I'm going to be pulling in all of the players from Crescent's Blade very, very soon. But before we get that, I'm just going to take a second and make sure the co-caster is here and ready to roll.
Yes, I am.
All right, so obviously we are coming off of a 2-0 there from Crescent's Blade. Pretty convincing fashion based on the scoreline, but the game was very close throughout the entire, the entire match. It was very similar to the Revolt game in the fact that scoreline points towards one team, but the way the rounds played out really was very 50-50. So obviously, we're going to see what exactly was going through the heads of the players and what they were really thinking before, after, and in the game. So right now, I'm going to quickly drag them in here, and let's see exactly what was going through their head.
I didn't even hear that, dude.
Oh, nice.
All right, guys,
Rip.
hello?
Hello.
What's
All right,
up, man?
What's going on, guys? So we're just going to get right into it here with the post-game interview, as I hope this stream just didn't crash. Okay, no, we're good to go. It looked like the stream crashed, but we're okay. So going into the first question here is obviously you and Seduction. You guys have you've been scrim partners for a very, very long time, and you guys know each other like the back of each other's hands. And going into this match, what did you do to prepare against a team that knows you so much?
So I think I'm going to answer this. Well, the scrims that we had done with them, it's well, let me start by saying we love them. They're great guys.
For sure.
But the scrims we had done with them had all been with Mira, and we kind of noticed that Mira seemed to be a pretty hard focus for their defenses. So we kind of made the call that we should just ban Mira because we don't know that they have a lot of experience without her. And we had just played in the Challenge League quals. You know, Mira was banned most games, and we've been playing without Mira, practicing without her for a long time. We just felt more confident in our ability to win those rounds than we felt that they could win them back.
So that Mira was essentially a targeted ban for the way you saw Seduction play?
Yeah.
All right, that's very interesting. The second question I have is coming out of the first match, and it was a pretty convincing win on Border. Did you expect more of the same on Oregon, or was it kind of surprising that you weren't met with much drawback from Seduction?
We definitely noticed that they were changing up their strats, trying to counter what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say they definitely switched things up in the right kind of way, but we have just today just felt we were on our game.
Yeah.
We were playing super well together. Our aims were all pretty great, aside from Haste.
Rude. So I play support.
Haste is great. He's
Back to
usually
Ash tomorrow.
he's usually our fragger. He top frags most of the time. But I can't really say that Seduction did a whole bunch wrong.
Yeah.
Without going over the VOD, but it just felt like we countered what they were trying to counter us.
All right, that's going to be all of my questions then. Nitrix, do you have any?
I have one quick little one and a longer one. The first one is your name pronounced Jitero?
We need help on that.
No. Jitero.
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 Jitero. Okay. I do apologize for that. So my longer question that has a little bit more of an in-depth answer is, I believe you guys were the ones that chose Oregon, correct? For the
we
map
actually
bans?
chose Border.
Just
Or
Border.
we chose Border. Yeah, they chose Oregon.
Okay. I was wondering why did you choose that map along with the bans that you did? Because I believe you guys were the ones that banned Blackbeard and Mira, who are two very common operators on that map. So was that a main strategy when going into it? You knew that you were going to ban those and you had strats ready for it? Or was this kind of just feeling it out, knowing your opponents and trying to counter them?
I'd say it was kind of 50-50. We know that we have played Blackbeard on Border before and Mira. We've done a lot of strats with them. But, at the same time, we just have experience without those operators, and taking them away from teams seems to produce some pretty favorable results, especially if you've practiced without those specific operators. So we were definitely feeling out the new terrain, but we definitely practiced with those strats before, and we definitely thought beforehand we should just cut them off and use the strats that we practiced to kind of get the upper hand.
All right, awesome.
All right, guys, that's going to be it. Then I wish you the best of luck going into the later, I always say later half of the season, but we are still very early on in this season. But that's going to be a 2-win streak for you guys, so I hope you guys continue that to the best of your abilities. And I wish you the best of luck, and thanks so much for sticking around here for the post-game interview, and really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, guys, so that is going to be it for it today. We had 2 matches. There was actually supposed to be